Have you ever actually tried the powdered milk you've got stockpiled? I did after 5 years. It was a winter night. We were out of milk, and the kids begged for hot cocoa. My moment to shine. Within an hour, our house became a biological warfare zone. My wife said it smelled like something had died in the walls. Hey, I'm Lee. That disaster is the biggest mistake I see preppers make, one that wastes money and could leave you worse off. Stick around, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you think about food storage. And if you find this helpful, smash that subscribe button. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. The biggest mistake beginner preppers make is this. They build a pantry they'll never actually eat from. I know. You're thinking, Lee, that's the whole point. It's emergency food. I'm not supposed to eat it until the apocalypse hits. Wrong. Dead wrong. And I learned this the most embarrassing way possible. It's 2016. I've got shelves upon shelves of freeze-dried meals, canned vegetables I've never tasted, and about 40 pounds of something called textured vegetable protein that I bought because it was on sale. My wife asked me, have you ever actually cooked with any of this? And I give her that classic prepper response, I'll figure it out when I need to. Then we had a localized emergency. Bad ice storm knocked out power for 11 days. This was it. Time to use the prepper pantry. Time to shine. Day one, I crack open a can of something labeled hearty vegetable stew. It smelled like a wet dog had a fight with a compost bin. My kids took one look at it and flat out refused to eat it. Not because they were being picky, because the food was genuinely that bad. By day 3, we were eating at my mother-in-law's house, and I had to endure the most humiliating sentence a prepper can hear. I thought you were supposed to be prepared, Lee. I'd spent thousands of dollars on food that no one in my family would actually eat. I built a pantry for some theoretical future version of my family that apparently had no taste buds and the survival instincts of a cockroach. Between the powdered milk incident and this ice storm disaster, I realized I'd been doing prepping completely backwards. Here's why this mistake is so common and why I fell into the same trap. We get hypnotized by shelf life. You go online, you see 25-year shelf life, and your brain goes, ooh, that's efficient. You're thinking long-term. You're thinking smart. You're thinking like a prepper. But here's what you're not thinking about. Will your kids eat dehydrated beet powder? Will your spouse tolerate 3 days straight of beans that taste like cardboard? Will you be able to choke down mystery meat from a can when you're already stressed out of your mind? The prepping industry has done a brilliant job convincing us that food storage is about durability and calories. And sure, those things matter. But they forgot to mention the most important factor. Will you actually eat this crap? I've been to disaster zones. I've talked to people who lived through hurricanes, floods, extended power outages. You know what they all say? The people who did the best weren't the ones with the most calories stored. They were the ones who had food that kept their family's spirits up. Because here's the truth nobody talks about. In an emergency, morale is survival. If your kids are refusing to eat, if your spouse is miserable, if you can't stand the sight of another meal, you're not going to make it through with your sanity intact. And there's a second reason this happens. We buy before we practice. It's like buying $1,000 worth of camping gear and never spending a single night in a tent. Then when you finally go camping, you realize you hate sleeping on the ground, the tent leaks, and you forgot a can opener. Most people build their prepper pantry in one big shopping spree, pat themselves on the back, and never touch it again until they need it. That's not preparing. That's just hoarding with extra steps. All right, let's fix this. I'm going to give you the exact system I've used for the last 25 years, and it's stupidly simple. Step 1. Eat what you store and store what you eat. If your family loves spaghetti, stock up on pasta and sauce. This way, you're storing food you know they'll eat, and you're rotating through it naturally. I call it the lazy prepper method. Just buy more of what you already use, especially when it's on sale. Step 2. Test your storage with a pantry challenge. For a weekend, eat only from your prepper pantry. You'll quickly discover what's missing, like cooking oil, or that your easy meal is a pain to make. It's better to learn this now, not during an actual emergency. Step 3, store comfort foods. You need chocolate, coffee, whatever your family's comfort vice is. In a crisis, a little bit of normalcy goes a long way for morale. That's worth more than a bucket of freeze-dried kale. Step 4, learn to cook without power. If you can't cook your stored food without electricity, you have expensive dead weight. Get a camping stove or a small grill and practice with it before an emergency. Step 5, rotate, rotate, rotate. Your prepper pantry should be a working pantry. My system is simple, oldest stuff in front. When I need pasta, I grab from the prepper pantry first. Then I replace what I used and put the new stuff in back. First in, first out. Nothing ever expires. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Lee, freeze-dried food lasts 25 years. My regular pantry food only lasts a year or two? Yeah. And you know what else lasts forever? Plastic bags. Doesn't mean you want to eat them. Look, I'm not saying don't have some long-term storage. I've got buckets of rice and beans sealed up for a worst-case scenario, but that's my backup plan, not my primary plan. My primary plan is food my family actually enjoys, rotated regularly. That will keep us fed and happy for at least 3 to 6 months. If things get so bad that I'm breaking into the 25-year buckets, I've got bigger problems than food. But this sounds expensive. It's actually cheaper in the long run. You're not buying specialized prepper food at markup prices. You're buying regular groceries in bulk when they're on sale. You're using everything before it expires. You're not throwing away hundreds of dollars of food that went bad because you never touched it. Plus, think about it this way. Would you rather spend $500 on freeze-dried meals you'll never eat or $500 on regular food you'll actually use? Both cost the same, but one of them is actually useful. What if I don't have space? Then start small. You don't need a basement full of buckets. Start with a 2-week supply. Just 2 extra weeks of food you normally eat. That fits under a bed or in a closet. Match that, then expand to a month, then 2 months. You don't have to do this all at once. Let me tell you why I'm so passionate about this. In 2008, I got a call from a buddy of mine. Let's call him Dave. Dave had been prepping for years. He had a whole room dedicated to food storage, buckets everywhere. Freeze-dried this, dehydrated that. He was ready. Then Dave lost his job. And in the middle of the recession, he couldn't find work for 7 months. His savings ran out. His family was in trouble. But you know what? Dave had that prepper pantry. He should have been fine, right? Except he wasn't. Because his kids refused to eat the freeze-dried meals. His wife couldn't figure out how to cook with half the stuff. They had all this food, but they were still struggling because they'd never actually practiced using it. Dave ended up selling a bunch of his prepper supplies just to buy regular groceries. And he told me, Lee, I spent years building that pantry, and when I actually needed it, it was worthless. That conversation changed how I prep because Dave wasn't dumb. He wasn't lazy. He just made the same mistake most preppers make. He built a pantry for survival instead of a pantry for living. Look, prepping isn't about waiting for the end of the world. It's about being ready for the interruptions life throws at you. Job loss, power outages, supply chain hiccups, medical emergencies. And the best way to be ready is to build a pantry you'd actually want to use, not one that sits in your basement collecting dust and broken dreams. So here's your homework. This week, do a mini pantry challenge. Try to cook 3 meals using only what you've got stored. See what works. See what doesn't. Adjust accordingly. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and share this with a friend who's getting into prepping. Because we're all in this together, and the more people who are prepared, the better off we all are. Quick question for you. What's your go-to pantry staple or comfort food for tough times? Drop a comment below and help others build smarter pantries. I'm Lee. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay practical, and for the love of all that's holy, actually eat your prepper food before you need it.